The call came just past midnight. My brother's voice, raw with panic, dragged me from sleep. They pulled me over, took my last 200, arrested me, no reason. Before I could speak, the line went dead. I called back, not him, the officer. His voice oozed smug authority. So what? I arrested him for no reason. What you gonna do about it, punk? Then laughter. I didn't argue, didn't curse. I hung up and dialed another number. One call, no more than 30 seconds. A name, an officer, a station. By sunrise, the chief of police was on my line, his voice cracked with fury. "Who the hell are you? Internal Affairs is crawling all over my department." I didn't answer, because who I was mattered less than what I had just begun. The betrayal wasn't the arrest. It wasn't the money stolen, the cuffs around my brother's wrists. It was the truth that came crawling out in whispers. The officer wasn't acting alone. The report? False. Fabricated. A history of probable cause built like a paper tower. Signed off by superiors who never questioned. My brother wasn't the first. And suddenly I saw the pattern. Names, records, men like us, pulled over for the way we looked, the way we spoke, the way we didn't bow quickly enough. Each file carried the same signature, his. My brother was simply the latest trophy. And I understood. This wasn't corruption in isolation. This was sanctioned, hidden, nurtured. The betrayal wasn't only the badge. It was the silence of every officer who looked away. And I realized I couldn't save my brother by begging. I had to unravel the rot that fed on men like him, quietly, strategically. And when the truth came, it would consume them. I became a shadow in their system. Late nights at the courthouse, buried in archives no one touched. Records stretched back years, each one a variation of the same story. False charges, coerced confessions, lives derailed. I mapped connections, traced signatures, cross-referenced dates. My wall filled with paper, strings of red ink tying name to name. The officer was just a small predator, but his protection, captains, lieutenants, even the district attorney formed the nest. I gathered proof, slowly, carefully. Too much noise and the trail would vanish. On the surface, I was calm, visiting my brother in holding, smiling faintly when he asked if I was working on it. I was working on it. Every detail was a blade, sharpened to cut at the right moment. And in the stillness of my nights, I replayed that phone call. The laughter in the officer's voice when he said, "What you gonna do about it, punk?" I would answer him, but not in words. The package was delivered on a Friday, thick, heavy, every page a weapon. Sworn affidavits, tampered evidence logs, altered dashcam files restored to their uncut form. I handed it not to the police, but to Internal Affairs. Quiet, direct, no chance for interference. The officer's face when they came for him shattered. He stammered, denied, demanded to know who had betrayed him. I watched from the hallway. He looked for support from his fellow officers. None came. Their silence was no longer protection, it was survival. His voice cracked as they let him out. The arrogance that had stained his laughter was gone, replaced by the howl of a man drowning in truth. And still, I felt nothing, because this wasn't over. The chief called me again. "What the hell did you do? You've gutted half my department." His voice trembled, not with anger, but fear. I let the silence hang. Finally, I said, "I just showed them who you really are." Because the folder I delivered didn't stop at one officer. It climbed, page by page, through every hand that had signed off, every superior who had looked away. And the chief knew it. He understood that every lie he'd buried was now unearthing itself, inch by inch, under glaring lights he couldn't control. "Who are you?" he asked again, his voice breaking this time. I didn't answer, because who I was didn't matter, only what I had done. My brother walked free 2 weeks later. He thanked me, but I only nodded. I didn't tell him how deep the rot went, how many lives had been stolen before his. Because gratitude wasn't the point. This wasn't about one arrest or $200. It was about betrayal. The trust people placed in uniforms, in oaths, in justice that had long since been sold. I had peeled back the mask, exposed the sickness beneath. The officer lost his badge. The chief faced hearings. Internal affairs promised more would follow. I didn't celebrate. I only walked away. The city would remember the collapse, and he, the one who once laughed in my ear, would remember the silence that answered him. He asked what I would do about it. Now he lives inside the answer.